Pihu is 2 years old. Yesterday was her birthday, and this morning an extreme level of quarrel happened between her parents. Her father left home at the end of their quarrel. In a rage, her mother ate a lot of medicine to commit suicide. Pihu is now all alone in this house. It seems that in this detached house, every single step for Pihu has become a trap of death. Now, will Pihu be able to return alive from this trap of death? Or an innocent life will end in this solitary house? At the beginning of the movie, it is seen that after waking up from sleep, Pihu asked her mother for milk. But her mother does not react to her words. She is lying like a dead. Pihu does not understand what has happened to her mother. She thought her mother is sleeping like every day. Pihu became very thirsty. She calls her mother several times. But after not getting any reaction from her mother, thirsty Pihu comes down by the stairs to drink water. In the kitchen, it is continuously watering from the tap. Pihu tries to drink water with her hand by standing up on a tool. The tool was moving. It seems that she will fall down from the tool immediately. Because of her small hands, Pihu was not getting the reached water at all. Being compelled, Pihu came down from the tool. A lot of electric cables were scattered on the floor, which can create a malign accident immediately if it comes in touch with water. Pihu returned to her mother. She says her mother takes her outside for playing. But however she called her mother does not respond to her words. Pihu starts crying. She was not understanding anything. Why her mother does not answer her words. Pihu feels heavy bathroom pressure. She says to her mother to take her to the bathroom, but Pihu's mother doesn't make a sound. Being compelled, Pihu takes her toilet seat and goes to the bathroom. Pihu had never gone to the bathroom alone before today, but due to the pressure of the situation, she had to go to the toilet without anyone's help. After coming back from the bathroom, Pihu shows her hand to her mother and says, "Mom, I have got heavy pain." But Pihu's mother doesn't pay any attention to her daughter's words. She lies down like a dead. Just then her phone rings. Pihu looks for the mobile, but before finding the mobile it stops ringing. Pihu tells her mother to put on the pants, but her mother does not respond. Pihu throws the pant in anger. Pihu climbs on her mother's chest and tries to wake her up. Pihu's mother's face turned ashen. Her appearance shows that she has been tortured a lot. The bottle of medicines fell from her hand on the floor, because of her daughter's shaking. All the medicines in the bottle fell scattering on the floor. Pihu tries to refill the medicine one by one in the bottle. Showing her mother medicine, she says, "Mother, may I take some medicine?" But her mother doesn't answer. When Pihu was ready to take medicine, a balloon bursts on the floor, and her mother's mobile rings again. Pihu could not reach the mobile as it was on the shelf. She tries to take the mobile standing up on the tool. But she could not reach the mobile in any way. Pihu tries to climb up, by stepping between the cracks of the shelf. But she has no idea, if her foot slipped once, a fatal accident will occur. Fortunately, Pihu reaches the mobile and receives the call, but while coming down, the mobile falls from her hand and goes under the bed. As soon as the phone is received, Pihu's father starts abusing her mother in unspeakable language, and he keeps saying that he is not worried about her wife at all, he is calling only because of Pihu. He also says that he forgot to turn off the iron switch while rushing out in the morning. Moreover, he says to switch it off. By not getting any response from Pihu's mother, and hearing the sound of Pihu's crying, Pihu's father again abuses her mother for a while, and hangs up the call. Pihu sees her mother's pale face, and says her to apply the cream. Pihu goes to the dressing table to bring the cream. Pihu's mother's last words were written on the mirror of the dressing table. That, "I married you by going against my parents and my family, looking for a bit of happiness. But I could never catch the mirage. Once I thought of taking Pihu alone with me, but I could not show such great courage. On the other hand, 2-year-old Pihu has no idea what happened to her mother. Pihu applies cream all over her mother's face. She also sings a song to her mother, hoping that her mother will wake up after hearing her song, but her mother does not react. On the other hand, Pihu's discarded pants starts burning after coming in contact with the electric iron. Seeing the smoke coming from the iron, curious Pihu goes to grab the iron with her bare hands. Pihu's hands burned as soon as she touches the hot iron. She screams and lies on her mother's chest, but her mother does not react at all. Crying for a long time, she was tired. Pihu could not bear the pain of hunger. She came down to the kitchen. And she also tries to heat the food in the oven, but she was unable to operate the oven, and all the food burnt to ashes. Not getting any food in the oven, Pihu turns on the gas stove and tries to heat the bread directly on the gas fire, but the fire burns all the bread into ashes. Pihu tries unsuccessfully to put out the fire, but nothing can put out the fire from the bread. She tries to open the fridge after failing everywhere. Pihu randomly tries to open the fridge. Luckily, nothing fell on her head from above the fridge, and eventually, the fridge opened. She eats some of the cake from last night, and threw all the food here and there from the fridge. After that, she entered into the fridge and closed the door. After a while, she starts feeling suffocated inside the fridge. Everything around her starts freezing. Pihu tries hard to open the door from inside, but the door of the fridge does not open. The fridge started shaking. If the fridge fell, it cannot be imagined what will happen. But luckily, the door opens. Hungry Pihu starts eating jam and bread from the fridge. Even she asks her mother to eat, but her mother does not answer. Pihu is still unable to understand what is death. She thought, her mother may be sleeping and she will wake up anytime and talk with her, play with her. Pihu starts playing with balloon. But the balloon bursts as soon as it comes in contact with the hot iron. Just then, her mother's phone rang again. Pihu takes out her mother's phone from under the bed with a scale. This time it was also Pihu's father's call. When he wants to talk with Pihu's mother, Pihu puts the mobile to her mother's ear. On the other side of the call, his father keeps saying sorry to her mother, but her mother does not respond at all. At one point, her father disconnects the call in frustration. Pihu was playing with herself. Suddenly, the iron machine which was switched on, fell on the table, by the pull of her toy telephone. Pihu went to the TV room and starts watching TV. All of a sudden the TV turns off. Pihu tries a lot to turn on the TV, but all her efforts goes in vain. Many tearing wires were spreading behind the TV. Pihu gets confused seeing so many wires and turns on the switch. Just then, someone knocks at the door. Looking under the door, Pihu sees that the milkman has come. By not getting anyone's response, the milkman leaves. Pihu hugs her doll and went to sleep. Pihu wakes up by the sound of mobile ringing. Whenever Pihu goes upstairs to receive the call, the water purifier blasts in the kitchen. The whole house fills with black smoke. It was continuously watering from the tap. It seems like the whole kitchen has turned into the wreckage. Pihu gets scared and goes to her mother with her doll. Smoke was coming out from the iron continuously. Pihu hears the sound of her friends and goes to the balcony. Pihu tries to show her new doll to her friends from the balcony. But accidentally the doll falls down from the railing. Pihu grazes over the railing to see the doll. If her foot slips once from the railing, Pihu will fall straight down from the 5th floor. Luckily, someone from a nearby building sees Pihu on the railing. She says Pihu to get down from the railing, and she is coming up with Pihu's doll. Pihu came down from the railing. Just then her mother's phone rang again. Pihu tells her father that mom is still sleeping. Pihu's father hangs up due to his busy schedule. Meanwhile, Pihu becomes very hungry. She looks for the milk bottle around her. While searching, she suddenly found a bottle of floor cleaner that looks like similar to milk bottle. Pihu asks her mother again and again, "Mom, may I drink this milk?" But her mother said nothing. At one point, Pihu opens the bottle of a floor cleaner for drinking, and poured the floor cleaner into the milking pot. But Pihu is really a lucky one. While pouring the floor cleaner from the bottle, all the floor cleaner falls on the floor. So, Pihu does not have to drink the floor cleaner anymore. This time she survived. Pihu tries hard to get milk from her mother's breast, but she gets no response from her mother's frozen body. Being scared, Pihu starts crying. Being unable to tolerate the hunger, she again comes to the kitchen. As the taps keep running, the water flows all over the floor. On the other hand, it was continuously firing in the gas stove. Electric wires were hanging at different ends of the room. It is hard to imagine that serious accident could happen once the water comes in contact with electrical wires. Pihu finds some food in the kitchen. She comes up with them. Her father calls again. Pihu tells her father that mom is still sleeping. From Pihu's words, her father understands that there must be some troubles, otherwise there is no question of Pihu's mother sleeping so long. She says to Pihu, "Mom, don't go out of the room, I am coming." After hanging up the phone, Pihu picks up some medicine on her food plate, from the medicine that was spreading on the floor, and took several medicines one after another. Within a short time, the reaction of the medicine starts. Pihu's eyes begin to close slowly. Pihu's father calls again, but there is no energy left in Pihu's body to receive the call. Her eyes closed in no time. The ground floor has been flooded and the whole house is engulfed with black smoke. Neighbors kept shouting in front of the door, but no one was there to open the door. Meanwhile, Pihu's father comes screaming. He finds Pihu's mother's frozen body on the bed, but he did not find Pihu anywhere. Pihu replies from under the bed hearing Dad screaming, "Dad, I'm here, Mom is still sleeping. Look, what a beautiful house I have made. We will all stay together in this house with Mother." Pihu's father realizes that, today he has made a big mistake. Because of his mistakes, his happy family has been shattered. Now he has nothing else to do. If he had respected his wife, while she was alive, he would not have seen this day. This is where the movie ends. Thank you.